I've been a Pokemon fan ever since I received my cousin's Game Boy Advance with Pokemon Silver, running around the already conquered region and exploring to my heart's content. Pokemon's been a franchise near and dear to my heart for as long as I can remember, but as I grow older, aside from Nuzlocke and other challenge runs, the Pokemon games offered little to no stimulating gameplay for me. It became increasingly clear that these games were no longer meant for me and other fans my age. In order to enjoy the series I loved so much, I would have to turn to alternatives. In this case, fan games or ROM hacks. These ROM hacks offered the challenge I wished so badly for, and I've been playing fan games and enhancement hacks for a long time. The Kaizo series, Light Platinum, Renegade Platinum, every Drayano hack, Insurgents, and a whole lot more I can't remember because I played them so long ago. I put a lot of these games under my belt, but one of them stands at the top for me. Playing on the insane difficulty, there isn't an experience quite as challenging and unique as Pokemon Unbound. Pokemon Unbound sets us in the Boreas region, a region that warred with Kalos before the events of X and Y. This region quickly surpassed my expectations with fun dungeons and unique areas such as Thundercat Mountain, Crystal Peak, and my personal favorite, Antissa City. From towns overrun by the gang charging you for healing your Pokemon in the Pokemon Center to the humble routes and mountains, every area feels fresh but somehow at home with the mainline games. It's also worth noting that before Fly is accessible to the player, it's possible to backtrack quite easily with the underground tunnel system that connects most of the towns and cities to each other. Boreas reminds me a lot of Sinnoh, but without the excessive HM usage, as well as more forests and caves. It offers many ideas for areas that exist in the mainline games, but feel more unique and distinct. HMs are usable when you get the badge, and provided you have the mentioned HM in your bag, there is no need to ever teach a Pokemon an HM move during your playthrough of Pokemon Unbound. The biggest thing that can make your time in Boreas as enjoyable as possible is the sandbox mode. This allows you to edit your individual and effort values, abilities, and movesets all from a menu. This means no more grinding, and access to perfect Pokemon for you to experiment and try new strategies with. Did I mention that this masterpiece is built over Fire Red? Featuring Pokemon from generations 1 through 8, Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, and DexNav, there are plenty of tools to make your time in Boreas as pleasant as possible. The story of the Pokemon games is usually not a main selling point of the franchise or why people stick around, but Unbound had much more depth and nuance to its bosses and story that I actually found myself invested in the happenings of the region. There are some problems that I have with the story, mainly being pretty edgy and copying the Evil Team format, but ultimately it works really well for the game and provides an albeit loose reason for some of the bosses that show up in this game. Some areas of the game, mainly the basic routes, feel very samey, but the dungeons of this game feel alive and feature layouts and tile sets that really make it pop. But you aren't here for me to talk about the aesthetics and quality of life features, are you? I've played through Emerald Kaizo, Nuzlocke Renegade Platinum, and played most fan games under the sun. So when I tell you Insane Mode will test your knowledge and understanding of team compositions and how to use them to achieve victory, I hope you know you can trust me. This game slaps. Damn, it feels good to say that. Insane Mode pulls no punches and expects you to bring your A game or die trying, or to come back with a revamped team and absolutely crush your competition after coming up with your own solutions to the problems the game throws at you. The gyms in this game are not, and I repeat, not run-of-the-mill Pokemon gyms. Many of them introduce new mechanics or environmental effects that force you to change how you approach the upcoming boss fight and theorycraft ways to take them down and progress. From dealing with fog that damages non-dark type Pokemon and permanent Trick Room, there is something new at every corner that will make you change your approach and offer some unique scenarios that would not occur during a mainline game. I will admit that a few of these gym gimmicks are straight up broken. Insane Mode is not meant to be fair, and it knows how abusable the AI is and gives them a fighting chance. But the game was created in such a way that the solutions to your problems do exist, they just might require a different approach and a little bit of luck. And that's just the gym leaders. There are plenty of fights without these special gimmicks that utilize the Pokemon roster in the ways mainline games have never seen. I'm talking teams with movesets with coverage in mind, sweepers, Pokemon with no real weaknesses, and held items to boost their durability or their potential to sweep you. There are double battles with your friends you meet along the way, and they're a real pain in the ass. At first I thought that the partners you're given in these double battles are so disadvantageous that you should just give up. Not entirely true. Your partner's Pokemon have strengths they can bring out in a fight, you just need a way to enable them, or you just need to pull a little bit more than your weight. This used to be a huge complaint of mine, but they have patched it to make your companion a little bit more than dead weight. These battles will challenge your ability to make smart switches and deal with threats accordingly. These fights are challenging and rewarding to complete as they're no walk in the park. Sandbox mode is an option for a reason. Even regular trainer battles have the potential to wipe you if you don't play them accordingly. There are also gauntlets of bosses that will give you no room to stop and switch out your party before facing them. These bosses are typically legendaries and will raise their stats to threaten sending you back to the Pokemon Center. So yeah, the fights in this game are something else, and honestly talking about them doesn't really do them justice. It's a crazy ride from starter to Hall of Fame. The encounters in this game are rough, to put it lightly. You'll start getting star-studded team members around the 4th gym, which is when you get access to Route 10. Up until then, you're going to be doing a lot of party switching to build the perfect combination of Pokemon from your pile of misfits. The mons that they offer you aren't bad per se, but most of them are unfamiliar, which leads to some newfound favorites. Big shoutouts to Comfey here. The ones shown on screen don't include the dungeons, but I wanted to give you a look at how constraining the early game encounters are. A lot of these Pokemon are not very useful by themselves and need the correct scenario and party members to get you your win. I think it's a big strength of the game, but also one of its detriments, as there are a few fights on Insane Mode that require you to have 1 or 2 Pokemon to even gain some headway on bosses. Maybe I'm not creative enough, maybe you are, but coming up with strategies for fights, especially early game, made me calculate damage and breed for Pokemon with egg moves before I could even think about getting past it, or revamping my team entirely and just finding anything that'll work. Combined with the level cap that Insane Mode imposes, it ensures that you'll have to spend a lot of time coming up with your own strategies or asking somebody for help. After the 4th gym, you get access to a bunch of megas and extremely useful Pokemon that'll be more familiar to Pokemon players. Team building in this game is an absolute delight if you're into that sort of thing. It's pretty much required though, and I had almost a full box of Pokemon that I used for my playthrough. A few I only used once, but many of them I kept constantly switching out until it was time to fight the Elite Four. So yeah, that's the basic overview of Pokemon Unbound's Insane Mode. It's really challenging, and while it may not be as hard as Emerald Kaizo in terms of difficulty, to me the physical special split as well as being up to date of Gen 8 makes it a much more encompassing experience for me personally. If the difficulty of being hard isn't a big sell for you, this is still, in my opinion, one of the best Pokemon games ever made. It has great routes, good story, fantastic music. With all of its quality of life changes and multiple difficulty settings, it's hard to find another game that compares in quality to it. This game also doesn't have the amount of edge and grit that other fan games do. It's actually very consumable and really well polished, unlike a lot of projects that have come out from fans in the past. So huge shoutouts to Skeli for developing this amazing game, and I really hope to see more people playing and talking about Pokemon Unbound.